Why does everybody hate you?
It's not f***ing Banjo.
Yooka-Laylee is a puzzle platformer collectathon that has been a controversy since its release back in 2017. People hate it with a passion. Even gamers that absolutely love the collectathon genre hate this game. It was supposed to be the next Banjo-Kazooie successor, has so much hype around it, not to mention that it was a Kickstarter that raised over $2 million, backed by more than 70,000 people. This game was supposed to be the tits, the breasts of all breasts, the real stuff, not the fake stuff. The boobies to end all boobies. But something happened and the perfect two-titty duo didn't pan out. So much hate for this game, and to be honest, I wasn't really sure why. I played through this game and I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I was at a loss, torn up on the inside, wondering what it was about this game that made people dislike it so much, as well as for myself who played this game and didn't love it or hate it. Well, for starters, you cucked my boy JonTron. I mean, I didn't even know he was in this game until the news told me that he wasn't in this game.
I'm going.
I love collectathon platformers. I've loved them since I was a kid back in the late 90s, early 2000s, first starting off with a game called Donkey Kong 64, which was a really fun game for me back in the day. I played a bunch of Banjo-Kazooie as well with other games like Jak and Daxter and Ratchet & Clank. Trying to put all of my nostalgia aside, I wouldn't say any of these games are perfect, but they're fun nonetheless. It's because of my liking of these said games that when I found out about Yooka-Laylee, I was pretty excited to play it, and my dear Thanos actually picked it up for me for my birthday, and we were actually able to record our first experience with this game.
This is kind of hard, doing videos by yourself when your pal's asleep.
I've never eaten ass before, but this is probably the closest thing to it.
Yeah, pretty rough. But what was it about this game that wasn't that appealing? Well, that's what this video is about. There are a lot of things that I really enjoyed about this game, and there were also a lot of things that sucked massive German sausages. And I would like to talk about both. This game starts off with Capital B stealing all of the books, including your book, which turns out to be a magic book. It is then your job to collect all the missing pages and to get your book back. You get familiar with the controls right off the bat, and in all reality, they aren't bad. The controls are pretty tight and feel good for the most part. The platforming elements feel really good, and the collecting aspect is pretty straightforward, most of the time. There are so many characters in this game for you to interact with as well. Yooka and Laylee are fun fill-in characters that I enjoyed pretty much the entire game. Trowser the snake that you buy power-ups from is very fun as well. The main villain B and his duck henchmen also have their moments too. Every level you play through has different characters throughout it that you can interact with and collect pages from. There are pigs, shopping carts, snowmen, and even slot machines. As you get close to a character that you can interact with, they will light up letting the player know that this is someone you can talk to and potentially get a pagey from. The goofy, vibrant characters allow this game to not take itself too seriously, along with the puns and witty dialogue, which was always a treat. But I mean, hey, I'm easy to please. The graphics in this game are beautiful. The characters look great, and there really are some cool, breathtaking sceneries that are full of color and wonderful to look at. The level design on the outside looks great, but from a player's perspective, it was rough at times. The game promotes the player to really go exploring, and you can tell this from how massive the levels are, especially the ice level. It is huge! But bigger in this case doesn't always mean better. Seems like every game out there now is just trying to build the biggest map possible. RPG, big map. Battle Royale, bigger f***ing map. Call of Duty, map, big mother, download 200 gigs. Call of me, really? Jesus Christ. Take it from me, I'm not a very big guy. 5'8", most likely below average peen size, and I'm a damn catch. I love exploring in video games. Finding secrets, new areas, and extra collectibles is like doing drugs for me. Discovering something that most gamers don't, or finding a little bit extra that the developers have hidden in games is so cool to me. But in a game like this, the bigger levels for me just weren't as fun. Lots of backtracking and empty space is what it felt like for me. It was at times like this that I literally had to force myself to keep playing the game to advance to the next world. Once you collect enough pages, you can actually expand the world, making them even bigger for you to explore and find more collectibles, which, the more I think about it, isn't a bad thing. It gives the player more to explore, but like I said, bigger isn't always better. Looking back on games like Banjo, what made it so good and appealing is that it was simple, the pacing was great, and the levels weren't too big. You always felt like you were progressing, and there were always things that kept you interested and wanting to play more. I'm not saying that this game doesn't have those moments, because it does, but there are also times where you feel like playing this game is more of a chore. One specific level that I loved and hated at the same time was the casino level. I loved it because of the design, and the idea was really cool to me, but the way you go about collecting pages just wasn't fun. Instead of getting a shot of heroin when you collect a pagey and hear that jingle, you have to collect coins throughout the stage. Once you collect 10 or more coins, you give them to Barry B here, and he gives you pages. 10 coins per pagey. That wasn't fun for me. There were a lot of examples like this that could have been cool, but just weren't executed properly. Another such example is the Minecart Minigames. Holy motherfuck, Batman, these minigames ate so much ass, it was awful to complete those. The controls weren't great at all. You can slow down your minecart, but only for a few seconds, and then there's this cooldown. Same with speeding up or shooting your cannon. Not to mention that as the camera and the tracks rotate, you can end up shooting the cannonball off the map and missing your target. But this is a side-scrolling minigame! There was another section that I didn't enjoy either. It was also on the ice level where you go into a cave and there are these fixed camera angle sections with like a million doors that you can walk through, but sometimes it's hard to tell if you're walking through a door or not. Plus you have to watch your screen go black every single time you walk through a door, which really dicks with the pacing. An aspect of this game that I loved was all the abilities you can purchase from Trouser by collecting feathers. You get loads of abilities that allow you to collect certain pages and get to areas you couldn't before, which is a nice touch. You can roll around, shoot telepathic rings, and even fly, which the flying move you purchase comes in handy, allowing you to get to pretty much everywhere. But damn, it is really hard to control. There was also a tongue-grabbing power-up you get that didn't work very good at all for me. I would jump towards where I'm supposed to shoot my tongue and it wouldn't grab on. This happened so often to me that once I learned to fly, I quit sticking my tongue out so much. There were also little power-ups throughout each level that really complements the characters. For example, Yooka can use his tongue to eat specific objects that grant a timed ability, from fire to water to shooting ice out of his mouth to eating honey that keeps you from sliding down steep or icy hills, and even a cannonball that weighs you down so you don't get blown off by air. Since he is a chameleon, it makes sense. You can tell the developers put a lot of thought into the movesets to complement the characters. Throughout each level, you collect ghosts, which each one has a different way for you to collect them. One, you have to shoot crystal balls into its mouth. Another, you have to use your telepathic rings. Another, you have to actually catch because it runs away. One, you have to dodge it and then hit it, and the last one, you just grab it. It doesn't tell you how to collect these though, so I spent a good chunk of time just fricking around until I finally figured it out. You also collect butterfly power-ups that expand your health, which I really liked. You can also collect energy that increases your energy meter for when you use your special abilities like rolling or flying. I could have lived without the energy meter, but it's whatever, it didn't ruin the game for me. You can also collect a molecule throughout each stage, which you give to the Dr. Tentacle Lady, and then she transforms you into a weird-ass object to collect usually just one pagey, which is kind of a big waste. You turn into a snowplow, a helicopter, boat, piranhas, and even a flower. They were all pretty but the flower one was probably my favorite, specifically for how open the characters were that you interacted with. Damn, it's finna get hot in here real quick! Just a few last complaints I had were Rex's little arcade games all really sucked, especially the Flappy Bird one and the running one. All the boss fights in this game sucked dick, especially the ice boss. The final boss's last phase was bullshit because you run out of energy and these missiles are too damn slow to hit him. Some pages were really fun to collect, while others felt like you were beating your dick with a hammer. The duck quizzes I hated. The camera was a bit f***y at times. I don't know what the fuck this even is, but the tonks you get from it are little upgrades. I just wish that I could have all of them equipped and not just one. The hub world was pretty goddamn confusing to navigate, but hey, they want you to explore, so I suppose that's why. Overall, this game wasn't bad. When people said they hated it with a passion, I didn't really understand why. I mean, I get it, this was supposed to be the next Banjo-Kazooie and probably disappointed a lot of hardcore fans, but for me it wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing, but I don't hate it. If you like collectathon games, you will probably like this game. But if you went into it thinking this was going to be the next Banjo-Kazooie, you will most likely be disappointed. The game looks great and controls pretty good for the most part. It's basically a game from 2003 with amazing graphics. Oh, and the music ain't bad either.
I see. They don't hate you. They just really, really don't like you.
Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you guys enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and subscribe. We release videos like this every single week. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep it rad.